Has the same number of steals as Alfaro, 5. He's only been caught one time. And Vickerson sends a charge into 1 to left. Way out towards the bleachers. Back is Hawkins in the corner. Leaps up. He might have stolen it away. He made the catch. The umpire out there, they haven't ruled anything yet. And Hawkins went crashing into the fence in the corner. I think he might be hurt. And Beck goes down to second base here. His time is called. This is scary here. Hawkins leaped up towards the ESPN Myrtle Beach sign in foul ground in the corner. And he crashed right into the side wall. He is now getting to his feet. What an effort from Courtney Hawkins in left field. But that is certainly concerning. Hopefully he is all right. He is sitting up now. He went crashing right up into the top of the fence. It looked like he had stolen the ball away, although it looked like it was going to be foul by just about a foot. And that is somewhat of a blind spot for us here. It's tough to see exactly what happened, but I think he hit the side chain link fence and either toppled over it or was just keeled over it. We're getting a slow-mo replay here from our production crew, trying to have another look. I'm pretty sure he caught that ball, and I think he flipped over the sidewall. He definitely took it away from the top, and immediately the fans around him called over the training staff after they saw him fall. There were a couple of fans right next to him immediately waving people over. And some of those same fans are now clapping. It looks like Hawkins is now on his feet. Be interesting to see how they rule this. I think it is out. I never saw the ruling from the umpire, and manager Joe Mikulik is out there to have a conversation. I think because, sure he caught the ball, but that shouldn't necessarily be a dead ball. Beck was on his way to second, and on a play like that, they still got to get it back in. Somebody's got to go field that ball and throw it in. And manager Joe Mikulik here for the Pelicans is not all that happy. He just spun around after getting an explanation from the umpires. But my understanding is that on a play like that, if they're going to make that catch and it not be a foul ball, which if Hawkins caught it, it's still live, Beck can not only tag second but continue to go to third. And some fielder has to come get that ball from him and throw it back in, and then they can attend to him. Had they called it a foul ball, no problem. Beck is at first, the batter's back up there, Vickerson, and Hawkins can be attended to just fine. But because of the way they've ruled it, which on the scoreboard right now is listed as an out, that should be a live ball until Beck stops and they then can call time. But Beck had raced back to first base. He was all the way almost to third on that ball, thinking that he was either going to get out or hit up against the fence, and had to run all the way back to first, then went to second, either on his own merit for knowing that that ball is still live or because manager Joe Mikulik was pleading for him to keep running. And finally, time was called right around the time he got to second base. Which again, if they ruled it out, just doesn't make sense. Hawkins is on his feet and walking under his own power. And that's really the important news here. Courtney Hawkins doesn't appear to be severely hurt. Hopefully just the wind knocked out. Training staff and manager Tommy Thompson headed back towards the dugout. Hawkins throws the ball in himself. So a long delay here, and Beck should at least be able to have second base because they never called time until Beck got there. And they haven't motioned for him to go back to first. Joe Mikulik still arguing his case. Tommy Thompson has joined in on the conversation now after being over with Hawkins. There are 3 players around the conversation, and now Ryan Leake has joined in. He is intently listening with his arms crossed behind his back. Tommy Thompson is pretty animated again. This is already the second time that he has been out there arguing with Adam Beck. And this is a really tough situation for these 2 umpires, but I think they might have made a mistake here. And with a play like that looked so dangerous, of course your immediate thought is let's make sure this guy is okay, but you got to make sure you're still following the rules, and I'm not quite sure they did. Here as this delay continues, we'll take a look around the Carolina League scoreboard right now. This is a big play as well because if Beck has to go back to first, it changes things because Otherwise, David Lyon is up with a man in scoring position, and Vickerson is still standing right at home plate. He is hoping that they're not going to call it out, and Vickerson gets to stay up there in what would be an 0-1 count. And they depart. Vickerson looks like he's going to be headed back towards the dugout, so it will be an out. They're going to let Beck take second. Carolina has a 3-2 lead at home in the bottom of the third against Lynchburg. Salem up big time in the bottom of the fourth, 6-0 at Frederick. Josue Perez is out of the dugout. He is pointing the ball at the home plate umpire, and he just got tossed. Manager Joe Mikulik trying to pull him away, and Perez is furious. He's got his cap off. You rarely see Perez like this. He is livid. Manager Joe Mikulik is trying to push him away and cannot. He is in the face of his own hitting coach trying to get him back towards the dugout. Wow. And I'm not sure what that is about. He came out with a baseball and was pointing at it. I'm not sure if he ended up seeing the ball that Hawkins tossed. I think they're still using it out in the field. I never saw it retired. It's the second time that Perez has been tossed this year, but he is really usually not that heated. And he is gone. When Perez has been out, Ryan Leake has taken over his duties, so we might have a new first base coach at some point. But boy, what just a crazy turn of events we've had here. Just to reset for you, it's 3-1. Myrtle Beach is down by 2 runs as Tyler Danish now throws some warm-up tosses. The play that started all of this, there was a runner at first base with 1 out. Vickerson sent a ball that nearly went out down the left field line. Courtney Hawkins robbed it over from going over the wall. It looked a little bit foul. I'm not sure if it was fair or foul. It was right next to the pole. Hawkins definitely took it away, though. It was going to go over the wall. And they ruled that it was a catch and then called a dead ball, which they should not have done. Preston Beck was only able to advance to second when conceivably he could have come all the way around to score. If they were going to call a dead ball, should have been a foul ball, and Beck would be back at first. Vickerson would still be at the plate. Manager Joe Mikulik, a long conversation, did not get tossed. But Josue Perez came storming out of the dugout, and he is making his way back towards the clubhouse. In Wilmington, they're delayed. It's a 0-0 game in the bottom of the first. They got a half an inning in, and now rain has come at Frawley Stadium. That start being made by Brian Rao of the Nationals. Wilmington getting a scoreless first inning out of their starter, Sean Minaya, the lefty out of Indiana State. So the batter is David Lyon, a runner at second. And I never looked at the clock, but that had to have been about 10 minutes. By far the longest delay we've had like that this year.